Well, first, let me just go ahead and say that the president didn't necessarily advocate for regime change, and it's not something which is historically unprecedented. Since 2018, we've had tremendous amounts of opposition protests for a pro-Iranian democracy anti-regime. This is something that Reza Pahlavi, the exiled crown prince, has talked about at mass. And also, if you think about what our strikes were targeting, it's exactly what the president has said from the very beginning, to not allow Iran, the largest sponsor of terror, to actually have nuclear enrichment program capabilities to be able to create a nuclear bomb. This is an existential threat not only to Israel, but to the stabilization within the Middle East, but also America. So the president's been very, very consistent in the idea that he wants to have a diplomatic channel, but he also has been consistent that Iran cannot possess a nuclear weapon. So does the Iranian people in the tens of millions want to see a free democratically elected? Yes, they do. You've seen this even after the execution, torture, and murder of Masa Amini, a young Iranian woman who refused to wear a hijab that was punished by the mullahs. So I think that what you're seeing is decisive action, but it's strategic and it's very accurate on what they're trying to achieve here. No, I don't think that the U.S. should be a nation building like George W. Bush times. I don't think that we should continue to expand our soldiers' footprints like we saw under the Obama administration. But I also don't think we should be weak on our adversaries, releasing tens of billions of dollars in fungible assets like we saw under the Biden administration, or allowing oil exportation at a record level to China on a sanctioned nation that's allowed it to continue to sponsor terrorism. The goal for us has never been about regime change. And again, I'll just say it once more. The president's been asking for a diplomatic solution to this from the very beginning. I mean, you can continue to interrupt or you can let me finish. So the idea is that we've made it very clear from the beginning that the IAEA, who's no friend to Israel or any of the actual people in the region, has said that the enrichment capabilities have exceeded what they've even thought was possible. So that really poses an existential threat. That's what the president has been trying to mitigate and limit from the very beginning. And so this has never been about regime change. It's just been about stopping the regime from having nuclear weapon capabilities. Well, that's pretty simple. The president, under Article 2, Section 2, has a limited executive war power authority. And it was Congress, though I disagree with it, who abdicated our Article 1, Section 8, Clause 11 through 13 war powers with the AUMFs. These AUMFs, these authorized use of military force, has gone on since 1957, 1991, 01, and 02 for the global war on terrorism. So if we consider Iran to be the largest state sponsor of terror, and we know that the 01, 02 AUMS was built on the idea of stopping terrorism around the globe, it does give the president the necessary war power authorities, and this is not in any way unconstitutional. I think Article 2, Section 2, war power authorities. Yeah, Article 2, Section 2, war power authorities of the executive branch covers this up to a 60-day period, and there was no declaration of war. This was a precision strike, and this was not for the intention of trying to inflate or escalate a war with Iran. It was just to stop their nuclear weapon capabilities. Well, again, I think that you have to do battlefield assessment to ensure what was the actual damage that had been impacted. You have to be able to go ahead and assess how far did our bunker bombs and how far did our actual precision strikes actually achieve its overall intended goal. I think very clearly when you look at Esfarhan, Natanz, and Fido, that it has done its job. So I think that, until we get further intel and assessments, I think it's difficult to be able to just kind of armchair quarterback this at this time.